Hello everyone and welcome back to another video, and in today's video I will be explaining why there is only one Antonov 225 and why the second one was not completed. So you might be going, wait, there's a second one? Well, technically yes, there is a airframe or a frame of a second Antonov 225. Now, I currently don't really know where this second frame is. It is apparently either in a hangar outside Kiev or in China. Well, that's what I've heard anyway. But, so this aircraft was an amazing aircraft, or could have been, but it was not completed. So today I will be talking about why it was never completed and what would the impact be if it was completed. So, let's get started. So the first thing we have to go talk about, we have to go all the way back to the beginning in 1988 when the first Antonov 225 was completed. Now, later on in 1991 the Soviet Union would fall, so this kind of makes it difficult already. So the first Antonov 225 was built and was a very successful aircraft and was, yes, gaining popularity because of its huge size, making it the world's largest aircraft, and it still is. But later on, after 1988, they had plans to make a second one, but the second one was not completed. They built part of it and it wasn't completed, so it was left in this hangar outside Kiev. And then back later on, after some time, they went back to complete it, but it never happened. Then in 2009, they went back to it, yes, again, and got it to 60 to 70% completed, which means it's not too far off 100%, which means sometime we could get a second Antonov 225 flying around. Well, let's just put it this way. Funding is quite difficult for a huge project like this. Now, already, the Antonov 225 doesn't get a lot of use. The one that can fly, not the frame. Now, the one that can fly is a huge aircraft, and I'm one of the lucky ones because I got to see it back in June 2020. Now, this aircraft doesn't get a whole lot of use. Why? Well, because your typical aircraft, your passenger aircraft or your cargo aircraft will get used possibly, maybe nearly every day. And the Antonov 225 doesn't. So if you wanted to transport your generator for your nuclear power plant, you call up Antonov and go, hey, I want to transport my generator. And they remove it from a hangar and fly it to you. And then you get to fly your generator to that nuclear power plant. And it's very costly too. The fuel costs are huge and it's not necessarily environmentally friendly. But let's take a look at a couple of these pictures. Here's some photos of the frames. It's kind of scary to think that such a huge, beautiful aircraft would be left as a frame, a rusting, well, not maybe rusting, but it's kind of scary to think that there's an aircraft of this size sitting here in a hangar, and to think of all those men and women who would have tried to build this aircraft and been told, well, listen lads, we're not going to actually complete this aircraft, so we're going to stop that and you can all go home. And that would be kind of I wouldn't be too happy, but anyway, the look of this aircraft is really cool, but you can see it looks pretty decayed, but it's not really. It's just very, well, not completed. So maybe China might buy the aircraft and complete the construction, but until further news gets out about that, I won't be making any further comment about China maybe completing it. But as you can see, the photos of this, there's other aircraft in the room, or the hangar. I am not too sure what this is, but maybe it was a manufacturing plant for Antonov, and there was other Antonov aircraft in the manufacturing plant at the time. So I'm just going to be trying to point out some of the obvious about some of these photos. But let's move on. So the Antonov 225 has 6 engines. They're huge, and the Antonov is really, really costly. It costs thousands and thousands and thousands. Apparently I heard something like it might cost like over 100,000 euros or something like that each hour to maintain or use this aircraft even. Now, there is really, really cool videos about the Antonov 225, and I would completely check out one of the Antonov 225 pilots channel. I can't remember the name. I believe it's called Antonov or something like that. But if you ever find that channel, definitely check it out. So there is loads of cool videos and channels about the Antonov 225 and videos about the Antonov 225. So it is a really cool aircraft, but it's really costly too. And although it may be beautiful and glamorous, on the pay side and the money side, it's not too glamorous. So that is one of the reasons why making a second one wouldn't be financially and definitely just wouldn't be financially a good decision for either Antonov or the person who may be maintaining the aircraft. It's like buying a dog and going, well, I'm going to buy a dog, but I'm not going to care for it, and I'm not going to brush its hair, wash it, it's going to get all stinky, and it's going to get sick and could die in years to come. So that's kind of like what you're going to do to the second Antonov. Now, if somebody was willing for the challenge and you were a billionaire, if not million or billionaire, and you were going to take on the challenge to maintain an aircraft of its size, yeah, go for it. Go ask Antonov and go, listen, I'm going to buy the airframe or the frame for that aircraft and complete it, fund it, and fly it. And there would be all this kind of stuff that you'd have to do. But anyway, moving on from that, I'm going to give you why there is no Antonov, the simple explanation. So, in 1991, the Soviet Union fell, meaning that there was not funding, and there was a lack of funding, and due to the Soviet Union falling, the simple explanation is that it was difficult for the Soviet Union, the Soviet Union basically funded the first Antonov 225, but the Soviet Union wasn't there anymore to fund the second one, so that's one of the reasons why the second Antonov 225 didn't form or didn't get built. And there was also a lack of funding, there's no really simple explanation to it, but it was just, there's no easy explanation to a lack of funding, but lack of funding is a lack of funding. So that's why the Antonov 225, the second one, didn't get built. Now, in 2009, they did attempt to build it, so it did get to 60 to 70% built, and we could have a second one flying around, as I said earlier on in the video. That could be a possibility if, as I said earlier on in the video as well, if somebody was taking up to the challenge to, yes, purchase the Antonov 225 and the rights and stuff to the second one, and purchase the remains of the second one and possibly build it and fly it, which would be quite amazing if somebody had the funds for an aircraft of its size. But obviously at the moment there is no real news, and I will try stay updated as much as possible as the Antonov 225, the second one, if it ever does get built. So if it does get built, I will try to stay updated on all of this news, and I will try inform all of you as soon as possible as maybe some of this news comes out. I will try to keep you updated on it. So yes, that leaves us to the end of the video, and thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Good night.